good looking. What you got cooking? Rue, I'm live. Please remind everybody. It's a light. Waiting for the health of the live stream to correct itself so we can commence with this this discussion. As we wait, I guess I'll introduce myself. If you're new to my channel, my name is Nancy, and this channel is Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and more. And today I'm here to discuss the broomstick challenge of 2020, as well as, I forgot. Oh, the health of the live stream corrected itself. That's a good thing. Welcome. I feel better. It's green, not red. So, and I must make this announcement. Of course, I offer TMI on my channel, and I am officially depressed now. Yep. So maybe I'll be covering some subject matters relative to depression and what new paradigm living. I'm depressed. Over the last week, I made 2 live streams, and they were Aquarius rants. That's when I talk about my personal life relative to everything that I'm involved with here on YouTube. And I got to this point where, well, in one of them I said, I get this sense that it's too much talking. Too much talking. Not just me, it's me too, just too much talking, but not enough action. And maybe this should also be an Aquarius rant. If I categorize this live stream under Aquarius rant, this is the 3rd one in a week. We're progressing. Or we could just categorize it as a discussion. A discussion about what? Shifts in reality. You know, and that will go under my abstract thoughts and theoretical thinking category. You know, so I really don't know how to categorize this one because it touches base on so many different things. It's just like a discussion. One of the things that is relevant here is that I am officially depressed. That's some serious stuff. I'm officially depressed. I'm saying I don't know how long it's going to take. And I'm disappointed. I've always battled with depression. And my depression is, what they call it, it has to do with, oh God, I know the name of it, but my mind messed up right now. It's relative to something. It's relative to the environment. You know, I say person is a product of their environment. It's as a direct result of something. I can draw a line to what is bothering me. And over the last 2 live streams, I was drawing lines to what was affecting me. And while I'm, you know, going through those those critical moments in my life, the moments that lead a person to enlightenment, for real, it is heavy. It's heavy. I'm all over the place. So this is somewhat of an Aquarius rant, but then it's not. I am going somewhere with this. If you just do what, ride the wave with me. Spirituality is real popular and it's trending. And here on YouTube, so many levels to this, you know. And it's hard to talk to people, not y'all, but people in general. Understanding the popular mindset is nothing like mine. it's nothing like mine. And so I understand when I speak and I throw my ideas and experiences out there, people really cannot relate to them as reality. And I can understand, because it's not their reality. This has been my reality. This is my reality. And whatever unfolds in my life will be my reality. So people can't rock with it, because it's not the common. It's not the trending. It's not the socially acceptable. It's out of the box. I'm an Aquarius. It's just out of the box. It's not rational. And I know that. That's what's so crazy about my life. And it's so hard for me to articulate my life, because it's a part of me that's so grounded in this earth. I'm fully in reality. I'm rooted. But then it's this I'm also, it's like the tarot card that is a representative of Aquarius is the star card. And the star card is this giant figure standing by this waterway, or what do you call it, shore. And this figure is so big that they're on shore. They're dipping water out of the water basin, and their head is in the clouds. It's a huge figure. And so I resonate with that figure. How you doing? I'm here, girl. I'm depressed. I need a shoulder. I need some shoulders. I need some shoulders. And so I'm going to make it make sense. This broom thing, I'm tired. I'm going somewhere. Let me go back to the tarot card, the star card, relative to Aquarius. So that particular card, the particular card I'm talking about is the star card, where this figure, this large figure, is kneeled on the earth in order to retrieve water from the water source, or the river, or whatever it is, And so this person, the way the positioning of the person, or the posture of the person is, or the pose, I'll say, is that they are grounded with their feet firmly on the ground. They're grounded. Otherwise they would topple over into the water. They don't. So they're grounded. That posture represents the Aquarius grounded. Then the Aquarius is going in to the water. And the water represents the subconscious. It represents one's inner emotional state. It represents the depth. And not just the depth of the individual. It's the depth of humanity, the state of humanity's soul. And then there, in the same card, a star card, the figure, remember, is so big, it's a giant, that their head is also in the air, or in the clouds. And Aquarius can either be airheaded, or they can be in tune with the ethereal realm. So you have the body grounded here on the earth, fully understanding matter. It has its hands, talking about Aquarius, has its hands in the subconscious, or how they say, the heart of themselves and humanity, as well as they in tune with the ethereal realm. That's me. And that's a heavy place to be. I'm going to have to go deep in this video, and it may seem arrogant and narcissistic, and to most, and I can understand it, because it's a deep place to be where I am. Guess this is an Aquarius rant. This portion is, because I'm going somewhere with this, but I got to talk about me first, and the depression that I'm dealing with right now, and why it is the case, because it's relative. It's relative to my experience right here, right now. I've been offering so much DMI. I've been making myself transparent. That's dangerous. But I need somebody to talk to. I've been talking to myself a mighty long time. And I've been my best confidant. No judgment, no judgment. Thank you. Thank you for the open platform. And so, here I mean, my life. I share a little bit of my life here and there. I talk about how I walk both in the spiritual and physical. I talk about how I am dismissed and irrelevant to those that I have encountered, because what my experiences don't make sense to them. It's just an excuse to them. You know, why I won't, like I should have opened the Aquarius rants that I made the other day back open, made them back available to the public. I closed them because it offers too much TMI about my life. But I should have opened them up, and I may open them up a little while longer so you can glimpse into my life. But what I was saying in some of my Aquarius rants, I share what was introduced to me in order to get out here and make it happen big time. So I had a choice. I could live big. I could have a lifestyle, you know, that could be admired by others and make me comfortable. Or I could refuse to do the different things that were offered to me and sit here in brokenness, you know. For people that are based in the physical world, the material world, making such a decision is an excuse. It's like it's not real to them, but it's also an excuse. You know, looking at it as a person using an excuse. Like they don't have the consciousness. I'm talking about people based in the material world. They don't have the consciousness that it's a choice that they're making. It's just their life. They're just living their life. They don't see spirit. So they don't even know. And in the Christian, I'm going to use a lot of biblical references in this video probably. In the Christian Bible, it says that Christ was crucified and was hung between two thieves. And one of his final prayers to his Father, God, was, hey, forgive them. And all the people that were crucifying him, forgive these people because they don't know what they're doing. Meaning they didn't have the consciousness in order to like compare, to see that they were doing wrong, you know, or that they had a choice. And so it's the same thing in my life. Religion been a bad mother sucker. It's very negative, very negative. And that was another thing people would, oh please, oh okay, I hope he don't come in here live. Another thing, when a person deals with a person like myself, a lot of what I share has a religious tone to it. And so I kind of feel like religion was created and taught to people in a way that it has been in order to make people judgmental of it, desensitized of it. What? The reality of living of what we call religion is a reality. It is experience. But the way it's been taught, I don't know if the way it's been taught to people, the way it's been presented to people, leads other people, I don't know how to say, shut up, Scrappy. I don't know how to say this, because it's important. Religion was created and used, yeah.
Hey, Mom.
Well, you was with what you just rolled over, Kim?
Yeah, she
okay. Oh, okay. I'm just wondering. I would put it right there.
I was trying to get you lottery money.
Oh, good. Here, I'm gonna give you a lottery money to play. Or Pearl.
I didn't say
I don't know. I'm live. Don't start with me. I'm upset.
Oh, you got savers?
No.
Oh, there you go.
Once again, I'm without, so it's greatly appreciated. How did your work go today? Did you go?
They made some nice meals and
what did they have?
Served them out.
Oh, you got to serve?
Yeah.
That's nice. So you like doing the community help work. That's really uplifting. That's what builds a person's real ego. This is my son, Jacob.
Hello. How you doing?
Mm-hmm. But that's what real, I can smell everything.
No.
Yes, I can. No, don't go out this door. I ain't gave you my lottery number. I can smell everything. I'm in a bad mood.
I wasn't about to walk my bed.
Okay, well, give it to Pearl. Get one of the dollars right there. There's one number. Look, take one of them dollars. One of y'all go play, because it's what? 6 o'clock.
Right.
So we need to be played soon. How about that? Okay. Yeah, and we gonna fall out. Long as you know, we gonna fall out. So, What am I trying to talk about? I'm about to talk about a lot of stuff. Y'all know my videos be very long, and this will be no different because it's a lot of material to cover. Yes, I'm opening up this live stream talking about my life, the depression that I'm currently dealing with, and I'll be talking about probably a few things relative to myself. Because why? Because I am a part of humanity. I'm one of the people that make up humanity. I'm in this boat with y'all. We rolling. Smell good? No, he don't smell good. Smell like I'm gonna get off this live and I'm gonna commence the whooping. I'm a Christian woman. I'll try to be better. Then I'm gonna move into talking about this Broom challenge and the significance of it. Let me see. Number one, another thing I've been dealing with for a while, but especially over the last couple of days, is that I'm not talking about y'all. Because if you rocking with me, I know you don't fit this grouping of people. And it's a large group. And people are, at certain terms I can't use that I'm sure get my videos limited. But I'm going to use them anyway. I'm going to use these words anyway. People stupid. And I mean, this is part of the making of the depression. People stupid. I mean, it's absolutely... Oh, I can't think of the word. It's ridiculous. Ridiculously stupid. Moronic. And I'll come back to that and try to make it make sense. And there are powers in our world that are playing, manipulating humanity because they are morons. And it's messed up. I don't know how to say this. I wish I could speak better. I don't want to put forth a lot of effort. In order for me to speak eloquently, I must focus, write notes, and be very professional. I don't feel like doing all that. I'm not in school or nothing like that. It's not profitable to me, so I don't want to do that. I just want to speak to you as another human being. You know what I'm saying? That people, many people, we're talking about the whole world's population. Many of the people, the majority of the people in the world's population are morons. They have a limited intellect. And because they are morons and have a limited intellect, and these are some of the people we think are so smart, so business savvy, they have a limited intellect. That they're so moronic that they can't see they being played and hustled. That's some deep stuff. And so the powers that we call B, or should not be, I think as Yanni said, I think it was Yanni the other day, they are laughing hysterically at humanity. I know a lot of people that watch me say, how does she know? She's just a stereotypical certain words I can't use. I just want to show you who I really am as I sit in my environment. Who is she? She doesn't know. It's so easy for the powers to be to fool us and to manipulate us because of our own arrogance. Who is she to know? I don't know how to make this make sense because it's so big that it would be better. I could deliver a message better if I were to take the time to write notes and organize my thoughts. But I just can't. A mind that is riding the wave of depression, that's not one of its capabilities. That's not it. So, I ramble. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. I'm trying to get it out. I'm passionate. I'm depressed. I'm disappointed. I'm going somewhere with it, and it includes you. And you. And you. It includes all of you. a moron, whoever they may be. And it's the majority of the people in the world's population. Can't see, don't have no discernment, very judgmental, and so much more. I had to come back to it. I'm going to try to move forward. I'm jumping subject matter somewhat to talk about how spirituality is trending, is popular, is popping. We have different communities. It's called the spiritual community or the conscious community. It's fake. Most of it is fake. Why? Why do we know this? It's because the majority of the people that create humanity are morons. Bottom line. Another way we know that it's a bunch of fake crap is because real spirituality will wipe the smile off your face on some real stuff. It'll wipe the smile off your face. It'll bring tears to the brim of your eyes if you really are on a spiritual walk. Once you get so far, hello, Justin, on your spiritual walk, you get to this place where you got to make up your mind. Either you suffer from depression, some people commit suicide, some people become alcoholics, drugs, just trying to escape the real reality, And I'm not saying it's the alternate reality, but I'm talking about it's the real reality relative to this place. It'll wipe the smile off your face. And so you get to this point where you got to make a conscious choice about what you're going to do. It's not pretty. And I choose to smile. Because there are some positive things about this experience. There's some positive things about me, and there's some positive things about you. It's about once we are conscious and aware, are we going to tap into it? So what was all that ranting about? I'm saying, hey, that this conscious community and that this, a spiritual community, the majority of it is fake. Period. And how do I know it? Because I know real spiritual walk will do what? Wipe the smile off your face. And then you have to make a decision about how you're going to move forward. I said that. I'm going to let that go so I can move forward. Just remember that. That's one of the primary concepts or ideas or truths that I need to share. Next thing that I want to spotlight, and I just talked about it, is that the majority of the people that create humanity are morons. They cannot see the true reality here in this world. They have a certain perspective that has been programmed by our world structure through different means. It's primarily called social engineering. We've talked about it. And everything, every judgment, every decision that each individual makes is made through those type of filters. So when a person that is based in the physical and matter experiences spirituality, they can't perceive it. They can't comprehend it. They don't understand the language. They don't know nothing about the consciousness. So their response or rebuttal, if they're responding, is to shame a person on a spiritual walk or spirituality or spiritual experiences. Shut it down. Don't belong to the physical world. This is the devil's realm. Hopefully that made sense. I wish more people would watch your videos. You make so much damn sense. Thank you, Asia. Thank you, Justin. I really appreciate you all. Just the queen. Thank you for dropping back. Why am I depressed? Because mine is relative to something or subjected or based on something. I've been fighting off depression on this spiritual walk here. and it's, I know the trigger is social media. I can't hide from social media. We're in what? New paradigm living. It's a part of life now. Okay. Dig that. Handle that, Nancy, because that's the truth. New paradigm living, social media, technology is a part of life. And it ain't gonna change from this point out. But it's very, very hard when you see people misrepresent spirituality and they get blessed for it. That's a hard pill to swallow. Hard pill to swallow. And to see the future of humanity, it's a hard pill to swallow. And to see how me, because I'm vain, how I'm going to be perceived and treated in this world because I've been forced to be something in particular, and I don't even know what I am. And then it just to be something that others can find irrelevant and categorize or put a label on what they want it to be. I'm gonna let it go. I know I could overcome that part. They overcome that a long time ago. And for me, I talk about it a little bit. I just want to hit on it. And me understanding all the different realms of reality that I'm in simultaneously. And I try so hard in my course of my life to force myself to stay in the material realm, but I can't. I'm ejected out of the spiritual realm into these other realms for a purpose that I don't even know about. I don't know what it is. I have an idea, but wholeheartedly the truth, I don't know. And I can't prove it. That's frustrating. It's real frustrating. Not to be able to force yourself to be able to stay in the realm of material or reality or matter. And being thrust into the physical realm and spiritual things and be able to see. And it's this, when we talk about discernment, I have to go into a video at another time and try to explain discernment, what it is. How to see. In previous live streams, when I was doing a new paradigm living, talking about natural disasters, I tried to show the hand of God, how we create the hand of God, and in order to train whoever watch me mind, so that they can see or discern what that is and what it looked like. But that's a hard concept because we're talking about something abstract, something not of this world. Something that doesn't matter to people based in matter. It ain't real. It's things that people in matter. If a person that's spiritual can barely hold on to it in the physical world, a person that's based in matter can't hold on to it at all, can't see it, can't discern it. That's messed up. Anyway, let me go on. What I'm about to do now, I'm going somewhere with this. Whatever this is categorized, this live stream is categorized as. I'm going somewhere because I want to talk about the significance of this broom and other relative experiences like this, what they call it, trending experiences we've had, over the last few years. Because a lot of us cannot see. This is deep. It's so deep, it's insane. It's so deep, it's insane. And what I did before I started this live stream, I YouTubed, search, seeing if I could find any discussions on this subject matter. And I didn't find any. So I can't wait to get done to see if something pop up then, because I want to see people's perspective on it, other than some silly shit. Excuse my language. I didn't make it. Wasn't trying to make it. Right now, I gotta get control of my emotions, and I need to go back and talk about my younger life, and I'm doing so for a reason. It's to bring us up to speed about what's going on now. Okay. For those that follow me, know that I'm a longtime resident of Detroit, which is in Michigan. I was born in 1970. When I was a child, my community was lovely. Um, Prior to, I could say, like the black folks moving into the community that I was raised in, I think there were primarily white people and Jewish people. That's the information I gotten from the older generation. Something occurred called the Great White Flight. And this is where all the Caucasian families moved to the surrounding suburban areas into condos and beautifully new built houses. And that's when African American families were allowed to purchase homes. And so at that time, there was a house in every single lot. Although the houses were at least 50 years old, they still were up to par, or they had just been renovated because now they're being sold to black families, and or the black families moved in and renovated them themselves. They were family homes. We're talking about 3 and 4 bedroom homes with 1 or 2 bathrooms, fireplace, all that kind of stuff. So it was beautiful. Yard, front yard, big trees, beautiful. It was fruit everywhere. People had fruit trees and grapevines and everything. It was like a ghetto paradise, I'll call it. Ghetto paradise. The streets were clean, just like right now if you go into some cities or suburban areas, it's very clean. It was very clean. We sat out on the porch all day and all night. Most times we didn't lock our doors. We were free to have our windows up. Wasn't no bars and no security system on the houses or anything like that. There were full families in every single home. In my community, and all communities, there were multiple movie theaters, skating rinks. I'm going somewhere with this. This is where I'm going back down memory lane, and I'm taking you with me. I'm trying to show you something. I mean, it was everything. And I remember, like the block I lived on, and it wasn't just my block, this was all communities at the time when I was coming up. So I was born in 1972, we're talking about 1980, 80 something. So between late 70s and mid 80s, this is the period I'm talking about. On my block, it used to be like a rig that would pull up, and it was called a mobile library. This super stretched long rig would pull up and take up like half the block, and it would open up and lay out, and it had the tables and chairs and the books and everything. And everybody would come out their house and get up on this rig, which was a library, and read books, and it stayed there for so many hours. There were community centers in every community. Movie theaters, high-end restaurants, department stores, it was everything. Not only was it that library, mobile library, it was also a mobile pool. The pool would pull up, on the rig would pull up, it would open up, and it was the ladders you climb up in. It was a full-length Olympic pool right outside our house. It would pull up on every block. Wasn't no open up the fire hydrants, shooting them off. No, all this stuff was organized, planned. It was community. On my block, but it was in every community. Shoot, we would get together, and during the summer, we have tour buses pull up. 5 o'clock in the morning, everybody coming out their house, shutting their door, locking it, because we going to Sea World, Cedar Point, everybody in the community out of there. All day long, community affair. This is the kind of early upbringing I had. It was beautiful. I don't know how to I'm going to try to make this make sense. Then one day something happened. This is before the 80s, before the drug thing. All of a sudden, I heard my whole family at the front door. Now, mind you, it was so many people at this time, because it was a house at every lot, and it was full of families. And so I'm the youngest. I run downstairs, and I'm peeking behind everybody. I'm 9 or 10, like, what's going on? Didn't nobody want to tell me. I'm the baby. Everybody in there a teenager. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. I'm 9, 10. Everybody teenagers. And my mom, them, they don't want me to know that's not the business of a child was taking place. What was taking place is that it was a house. Oh, let me say this, because this was just a fun memory. You know, in the 70s and stuff, there were a lot of bands. And a lot of bands made it, you know, big and popular. Well, it was a band of white folks stayed across the street from me. And I'm telling you, summertime in the city used to be wonderful. Not Sex in the City, summertime. And so they would get out there with their bass guitars and drums, and they had the big family porch, and them folk be out there rocking like what was his name? Kiss. They be rocking, baby. And so the whole block would be off the chain, and people standing around the house all out, because just come out on the porch. It was a beautiful time in the black community. It was a warm black community, once white. And so this one day I talk about where things changed. Something changed in that moment. So I'm peeking around my people, and I'm constantly begging everybody, like scratching up their back, like, what's going on? I've never seen this energy before. I never experienced this energy before. Everybody's just outside. And so I end up getting between somebody, and I could see. It was a family across the street from me, maybe 6 houses down, and they were predominantly young men. It was a lot of, and they were all handsome. I remember them being so freaking fine. And I was a little girl. And the youngest brother had committed suicide. He had hung himself with a water hose in the basement. And so what they were doing, they were bringing him out, and everybody was out, a whole block. Could you imagine hundreds of people out between, and grieving in disbelief. Why do I share that story? I share that story because at that moment, everybody in that area's state of consciousness changed. Everybody. After that, I cannot remember the previous consciousness that accompanied my earlier years with all those mobile libraries and a mobile swimming pool and going to the local movie theaters and roller skate, hanging out all summer, laying on the porch. We were free. In that moment, the consciousness changed. You say, Nancy, how do you know that the consciousness changed at that moment? That was your experience. Well, I can tell you this, that I know that the consciousness changed because soon after, reality changed. We began collectively to create a new reality. Didn't take no time. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't know how to fit it in because this is all kind of running at the same time. But I got to share it because, of course, I got to share something from my dream realm. In the same community that I grew up in, my brothers attended a school called Cooley High School. And so occasionally I was granted, the opportunity to go with my big brothers. And this one time Cooley High School was having a dance. And so my mom was like, go ahead, y'all could take her to the dance. So they take me to the dance. We enter Cooley High School. I'm little. My youngest brother was 10 years older than me. That's how small I was, about 8 or 9, 10. So I'm geeked up. I'm going with the big kids. So I'm up in Cooley High School for the first time. And because it's a dance of teenagers, brothers and sisters that tagged along were made to stay up on a track. It was a indoor track, like I don't know what they call it, a patio, or not a patio, but it was overhead track, running track for the track team. And so I remember standing up on this track, looking down at all the high school people. You know how you in high school, you flossing and everything. So I'm watching, I'm like, wow, I ain't never been in this school. And then all of a sudden I had this sense of being drawn down into that crowd. Was I literally being drawn down into the crowd? The answer was yes. Why? Because that track, the way it was designed, kind of tilted in. You know how when you see the tracks on TV, they go around and around, but it also seems like as you get closer in, it gets smaller, and it seems to be leaning inward. And I guess because when you're running, it's about, what is it called? See, I've been out of school for a long time. But when you run it, you have velocity, a velocity about something. I forgot. Well, when you turn the corner, you know what I'm saying? What holds you in is something like velocity, force, or something. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. And so the track was designed to lean in intentionally. And so I'm standing up on this track and I'm getting that pulling sensation. Why? Because it literally has been designed leaning for the track runners. And so it was the most horrible feeling and sensation I had. And so at that time, I was ready to go. I didn't like the feeling. And so I remember trying to get off the track, and it was hard to go up the track, even though it wasn't inclined that much. I was just that sensitive to that incline. And so I got off that track and I turned around. I ain't never going back up in there. And I remember going down the stairs and telling my brothers, hey, I'm ready to go. I don't know what y'all got going on. Take me home and y'all come back. And so, of course, they was mad. They take me home. Why do I talk about that track? Now, I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. It's relative to what we got going on today and all of this stuff. If you just ride with me. You too? Okay. So you understand me. You feel it. So now we're about to jump to my dream state. And these are dreams that occurred. I'm 50 years old. They occurred probably in my 30s. And even to most recently, I've had dreams where it's that pulling sensation. It's always something like leaning and drawing me into it. I've been in different dream scenarios where it's been evil spirits at a focal point. And that focal point is trying to draw me into it. And I'm battling, trying to come up out of it. And the scenarios will be different in my dreams. But all I knew, after years and years of having the same type of dreams, I have reoccurring dreams. I was like, I told you, I'd be like, I'm not doing it no more. When it came to demonic entities, I got to the point where let me tell you what we gonna do, demonic energy. Because this is enough. You're not going to taunt me. So I'm an ass wipe. And that's how I handled the situation. And so it started breaking that gravitational pull where I could back up out of it. For many years, it would just draw me in. And I couldn't get out of it. I was like, I'm not playing this game. I make the rules. This is not going to happen. I make the rules. This is not going to happen. So I began to break the gravitational pull. Move back. And I began to cast demons and spirits out of my dream realm. So that's how that was basically resolved. I bring that up because those repetitive dreams that I have, recurring dreams of the gravitational pull pulling me in to whatever, I know they're directly related to my real-time experience when I was a young girl at Cooley High School, standing up on that track. That was the real experience I had. So I had the real physical sensation. It also appeared in my dream, most likely as a direct result of that experience. Let me finish with that experience. Sometimes later, I revisited Cooley High School and I revisited that track. That track no longer had the gravitational pull it had on me. Probably because I was a bigger human being then. I was no longer 9 or 10. I was a little bitty thing. So the gravitational pull was probably greater on me. And I wasn't running. So it was just pulling me. But by the time I got older, that gravitational pull, my mass versus that gravitational pull didn't have the same effect. Why do I share that? Because I'm talking about how my reality shifted just for me relative to that. So pay attention. What I've been talking about in this live stream. I know I've talked about a lot. I started this live stream talking about where I am and how I'm depressed. I done went on a rant about fake consciousness and fake spirituality. And why did I rant about it? Because I'm mad as hell. Because I know personally that a real spiritual walk can wipe the smile off your face. and to be a witness to people, the fake consciousness and the fake spirituality being rewarded. And they ain't went through shit. And how do I know? Because the real walk wipe the smile off your face. Okay. So I done went through that rant. Talked about how I'm upset. Then I'm starting to move toward what we're dealing with. I shared the story in the late 70s about the young man in my community committing suicide, and it changed the whole consciousness of the people in our environment. And our physical reality began to change. Next, I shared the story about me visiting Cooley High School track relative to the dream I had, the dreams that followed, due to the gravitational pull that occurred during that experience. And how that in itself shifted my reality in my dream. It shifted my reality through my dreams. I don't know if I can make this one make sense. Because my dream state is what I'm saying changed as a direct result of that physical worldly experience. That gravitational pull I experienced was so traumatic to me. Nobody else experienced it around me. Why? They might have been bigger than me. They may not have been aware. Who knows why? I mean, there could have been other people that experienced it. But all I know for sure is that I experienced it. As a child, I knew that I experienced it. I knew I wanted to get off of there. Did I know what was happening to me? The answer is no. What I had to do was complain to my brothers like, take me home. I don't like the experience. Somehow I always had a big mouth and I was the only girl. Take me home now. I don't like it. It's making me feel funny. Yada, yada, yada. And they saying, okay, the track leaning, da, 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 da. You tripping. Yeah, you messing up our fun. That whole thing. But that was so traumatic to me that it infiltrated my dreams for years. In my dream state, that same gravitational pull visited me for years, haunted me for years, pulling me into demonic portals, attempting to pull me into demonic portals in other scenarios, until I stood up and said, no more. It's not going to be the case. So it shifted my reality and my consciousness is what I'm talking about. I'm about to partake in my vices, y'all. Thank you for lending me your ear, allowing me to have your shoulder in this moment of depression. You're here at Can Angels Fly Tarot and more. If you don't know me, my name is Nancy. If you are interested in the tarot reading, feel free to contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Details below this live stream and every live stream and or video I make. If you're ever interested in supporting me and my work, you see the big picture, Justin? I'm happy to hear that. You say, NASA announced that the Earth is perfectly balanced the other day. You ahead of me. You're ahead of me, beauty. I'm on my way there. I'm on my way there. I was talking about if you're interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can just contact me at my email. Email is below this live stream, any live stream and or video I make. If you're interested in donating to me to support me, my channel, and my work, you can do so. Over here at the bottom is my Cash App Me link, and or you can email me and say, hey Nancy, send me a payment invoice from PayPal in whatever amount, and I'll do so. Every penny counts. Thank you. Y'all don't have to shut me down now. I'm just talking about the norm. Don't stop me now. But I think this live stream been messing up. Oh, I forgot. I have vices. I am a cigarette smoker and chronic coffee drinker and or Pepsi drinker. And so right now I'm about to partake in my vices. I always announce it ahead of time to let you know what I do. This is for me. I'm not promoting anything. However, this is what I do. So as a beauty shared the other day, which was February, where is it? I didn't have no paper, y'all. I just got a pack of paper. So I got notes, just a few notes. I just got a pack of paper because I didn't have no more paper. And so I got a few notes here and they all over the place. It's just points that I wanted to hit here while I'm live. You know, on where's that? Let's see, on February 11th of 2020 of this year, I believe NASA announced, or they probably announced it a few days before or something, as Beauty has shared here, that the Earth is in perfect balance the other day. Perfect balance. Okay. Propaganda. Propaganda. Society, primarily in United States, is infiltrated with a lot of propaganda. What is propaganda really used for? I'm not talking about the stereotypical definition that I guess the experts will offer you or anybody else. This is my understanding. See, propaganda serves a purpose, and it's not just the purpose that the stereotypical people or professionals would share with you. I'm about to go into that. What is that supposed to mean? I'm completely throttled right now. I love these kinds of subject matters. Oh, thank you, Asia. Thank you. How you doing today? And what mean? What's supposed to mean? Say sounds similar. Vertical, and that's might be what I was suffering with, vertical. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a kid. I don't know this, but it hit me just that hard that it made an impact. It was a traumatic moment for me. It was just that bad. Propaganda. I don't know exactly when this occurred, but socially, there's something that came through, and it was called the dress. DRESS. Y'all remember the dress? And what was surrounding this dress, the propaganda, was like, it depended, different people saw the dress differently. Some people saw the dress as white and gold. Others saw it as like blue and black or whatever. It was propaganda. And I have come to believe, just over the last few days, when I'm going through all this stuff, that such promotions of propaganda are checkpoints. Checkpoints. The proverbial powers that be need to check on the intellect and the consciousness of society. And it's a checkpoint. It's a test. It's like we're all under a large psych test, and we can't see it. Under large psych tests. And the whole thing was crazy about it. Remember, I said the majority of humanity are morons. They can't see. It's entertaining. Such promotions of propaganda are entertaining to the masses. Like, what color did you see the dress as? Did you see it as white or gold? Or did you see it as blue and black? And everybody just be so amazed by this stuff. Astonished. Astonished. I mean, it's been, if you pay attention, it's been multiple promotions of propaganda. These are checkpoints to see where humanity or the populace is relative to the changes that are being made in our reality. Remember, in this video, in this live stream, we're dealing with things that you can't see. And people can't see because most people are what? Grounded in matter. So you can't see this. We are all having a psychological test done on us in a mass way. This is somewhat of Aquarius rant. I don't have any order, so I don't know how I'm going to deliver this. But I'm just overwhelmed. Another thing that I've noticed over the course of my life, this is relative to food, is that, I mean, there's primarily the same thing to eat over and over again. It just depends on what culture you are. Hamburger, chicken, fish of some form. And every now and then, it appears to me that for some reason, a large majority or group of people will decide to partake in the exact same food at the same time. And it becomes very obvious because they're like, well, you know what you cook? Oh, I cook meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn. And they were like, we had the exact same thing. And you go, Dad, we had the exact same thing. Same day, we had the exact same thing. Now, it used to be by word of mouth. Like, wow. Happened over and over again down through my life. It's like, okay. Well, it ain't that much to eat, so eventually, yeah, we all gonna eat the same thing. Recently, it happened again. And this time it was surrounding seafood. And one of the things I noticed that usually when people do this, the price of that particular food just happens to go down. And I think what made me notice it this time is that the price of seafood went down. Now, if you are the shopper, head of household and shopper, over groceries, you know that seafood is one of the most expensive foods out here on the market. I mean, seafoods that used to be cheap are now 4 or 5 times their price. One of the fish that I don't think a lot of people take in because it's troublesome is like a fish called buffalo. Buffalo used to back in the day be 99 cents a pound. You go try to get some buffalo now, it costs $3.99, $4.99. Such things as a more high-end fish such as pickerel and walleye and a red snapper, them things used to be around $6.99. Now, $12.99, $13.99 a pound. The crab legs, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about big money. Shrimp, big money. Prawns, big money. But all of a sudden, the price of seafood went down. And so I'm drawing this correlation. I'm thinking, I was like, ooh, I don't like chicken too much. I'm really like turn off the turkey. I mean, that's all there is to eat. So I'll be partaking in it and be like, oh, sick, I don't want it. And so I was like fed up the other day because I cooked the turkey. And the smell made me so sick. I was like, I'm not eating it. I can't do it. I tried to give it to the dog. The dog wouldn't eat it. I was like, the dog ain't eat it. I ain't eating it. Threw the mother sucker away. I was like, I'm just going to get some fish. That was my line of thought. But then I turned around. I'm here on YouTube and all of these people are, eating fish. I go on Facebook. Everybody making these crab boils and different fish. I mean, just like everybody, like I said, at the same time, once again, in the course of my life, everybody's primary focus is on the same food. Like, okay. Price went down in that food. A matter of fact, yesterday, I watched a YouTube creator. I'm not going to say this person's name. And they were just talking to their, platform. I guess that's what you call it, of people. And they brought up and they were suggesting, hey, eat seafood. Now, that's not what their channel is about at all. Their channels are about aliens, nanotechnology, cloning, and different things like that. Star seeds and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, eat fish, seafood, and this and that and that. I was like, okay. Okay. Just sharing. It all is relative. It all fits in. I'm going somewhere with this. Now, at this time, I need to source, cite scripture from the Bible. I let you know ahead of time. And of course, this live stream, I'm going to cite some scriptures. Here's the moment. And what am I about to cite? I'm about to cite Genesis chapter 11, verses 5 and on. So I don't know where. I'm just going to read. It says, Then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower that the sons of man were building. And the Lord said, if they have begun to do this as one people, speaking the same language, then nothing they devise will be beyond them. It says, Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so that they will not understand one another's speech. How do I move forward? Do I go this way? I don't know how to do it. I didn't do that right. I didn't do that right. So, if you have any knowledge of the Christian Bible, that is referring to, that scripture is referring to the Tower of Babel. And my understanding of the Tower of Babel is that all the people of the land came together to build a tower up into the heavens to reach God, or something like that. I could be wrong. And God was talking to whoever his crew was up there and said, hey, these fools that came together and they all working together on a common cause. They got a common focus. And as long I God, or us gods, know that if the people have a common focus, common purpose, and they all invest their energy into that common focus or purpose or subject matter, then it says it's nothing that we can do to stop them. Let me go. God dang it. I'm just going to try to read it again. That part. I did something wrong, of course. It says, I'm just quoting, because it says, if these fools come together and they all work together on a common subject matter or theme, purpose, they all work together on one purpose with one focus. The scripture says, if they have begun to do this as one people, speaking the same language, then nothing at all that they've devised will be beyond them. Nothing that they devise will be beyond them. What does that mean? It means that if a large enough group of people come together and focus their energy on one point, and they have an intention, and everybody working toward that intention, God in this Christian Bible said, it's nothing that they can't do. It's not nothing. And what were they trying to do relative to the Tower of Babel? They were trying to build a tower up high enough till they reached the heavens and God himself. And so that God, or them guys and his crew, said, hey, we can't let that happen. We got to scatter their language, because they all are speaking the same language. Same language. What does that mean? The same language talks about they all had, you know, when in past videos and live streams, I talk about the various branches of knowledge, whether it's law, politics, I don't know, culinary arts, name any branch of knowledge, cinematography, I don't know, archaeology, philosophy. Each of those branches of knowledge has their own vocabulary. They have their own language. Relative to the story of the Tower of Babel, all of those people had their own language. We don't know exactly what branch of knowledge they were all up under. It could have been that they were going to prove God, or they were going to call God into account. They was going up there to snatch that mother sucker up by the collar together and make him answer for this. That could have been their common theme, their focus. Their share had them share in their effort. And God said, oh, they going to come up here because they all working to the same thing. They going to build that tower up. They going to get up in here to me and they going to snatch me by the collar and make me be accountable for that down there. He had to scatter their language. meaning confuse them, cause them to have different interests, different things to focus on. Because if they're scattered, what they say, a house divided falls. And that's what happened with the Tower of Babel. Once their language was scattered, once their house was scattered, it failed. They couldn't work together to achieve something. This is important. It's relative to all the things that we are being exposed to relative to propaganda. I try to make it make sense. The earth is in perfect balance. What have I talked about most recently? I've talked about the various checkpoints along the way of programming the populace mind, their consciousness. And these checkpoints are presented to us in ways that are very entertaining. They astonish us. Is the dress white and gold, or is it blue and black? Another thing that is being used, or a tactic that's being used to test, because we're in this mass psychological testing periods we have, is to see where the consciousness of the majority of the world's population is. Where's your mind at? Where's your capability to comprehend, perceive, and discern? How do we know we were just tested? Hi, Pam. Better late than never. Popeye's chicken sandwich. The majority of the world's population are morons. Not y'all. Not me. But many are. Popeye's chicken sandwich was, what is it? Propaganda. It entertained us. It astounded us. We were told that's the best sandwich in the world. How can I say this? Let me stop. I'm going to say this. Just maybe 4 days ago, my daughter walked in with one of those sandwiches. And she says, Mama? I said, yes. She says, would you like some? I said, some of what? She says, I got one of them. I said, you got one of what? She said, I got one of them Popeye's chicken sandwiches. You bought that in my house? What's wrong with you? She said, I couldn't help but to partake in the hype. I need to know. She says, Mama, it's a pretty good sandwich. I think you should taste it. Now, I'm paranoid and I'm scared. But I partook. So I bit a sandwich, a little tiny piece. And it was a really, really good sandwich. Really, really good. And I turned to her and I said, well, baby, you go ahead and finish eating your sandwich. I said, but if you start acting pretty weird, I'm going to have to handle you. She said, understood, Mama. And she went on with her sandwich. I shared that to let you know I am a part of you. I'm just like everybody else. But I was scared. And I've been watching them. My eye been like this on her. I got time. I don't have time for the Popeye's chicken crazy stuff. I don't have time. Okay. I'm going somewhere with this. And it's relative to you, and to you. As well as this Broom challenge. Just ride the wave with me. Understand, as you're experiencing me now, I am going through depression, and I'm trying so hard not to stay in that state. That's what I don't want to do. That's what I'm not going to do. But I'm going to do my work because I do believe this is what I was called to do and I was made to do, regardless of what I'm really experiencing in reality. So I'm going to move on. propaganda, Popeye's chicken sandwich. Popeye's chicken sandwich. Hi, Queen. How you doing? Welcome. I miss you. I miss all y'all. Days without y'all are lonely. So, and my teeth yellow. I'm just sitting up and drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. And doing what I do. Now that Popeye's chicken sandwich. Right now, I gotta point out or draw attention to that there are different cultures. There are different demographic locations. And one of the branches of knowledge that exists, I don't know the official name of it, but it's marketing. Who do you market a product to? Now, what I believe I understand is that Popeyes is only present in certain demographic locations, meaning it's only being marketed to certain people, certain races, certain cultures. And so the Popeye chicken craze thing was a checkpoint to see the influence and or impact scientific research is having on the people's minds, consciousness, awareness, subconscious, and they state of their soul. Scientific research. Scientific, well, that's scientific experimentation. What am I doing right here with this little hand gesture? I'm trying to give you the most official label relative to what is being performed by the proverbial powers that be. What they do? What are they doing? I don't have a one-word label, but I do have a concept of what they do. Just like in the story in the Tower of Babel, our powers that be are attempting to move and redefine our reality. In order for our reality to be redefined, we all must work on it together. This is a collective effort. It requires collective consciousness. You know, the collective consciousness to make the new reality happen, to make it solidify in this physical realm. LA here. You in LA? I didn't know you was in LA. Depressed, Pam? I'm depressed. You depressed? I hope you're not depressed. One of us got to be okay. We got to get it together. We all right. We gonna be all right. Don't let the devil ride. Don't let the devil ride. Let me see if I can clarify what I'm saying, because now things are all starting to come together. I go back to the story I shared about my youth. About how, I don't know, fulfilling possibly life was, and the opportunities and the environment and the people and the families and the community. And then overnight, all of our states of consciousness changed because that young man committed suicide. After that, it was downhill. The next story I tell about that period is laying out on the porch with the TV, hollering down the street to my friends that was on the porch because it's dark now. It's summertime. My mama in the house. And we just outside under the stars, fresh air. It's good. This Walking Dead black woman comes up to me. Looked like she ain't had a bath in a year. And she said, "Hey, I need to use the telephone." was like, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get the phone. I go in the house. Mama, come here right now. I say, hey, mama, this lady out here says she in trouble. She need to use the phone. My mama looked out the door. She told that woman, we ain't got no phone. And I don't know, did my mama let that lady use the phone? She didn't let her in the house. Because remember then, there were landlines in the house. I don't remember the lady coming in the house. My mama would have whooped all on her. Or shot her up or did whatever she had to do. My mama had a machete under the bed. So that woman would get. I don't remember that woman coming in. I just remember that moment. She's what they call it. Just came like when people play Grand Theft Auto. They used to have the zombies, the crackheads walking like. That's exactly how she came and walking. It was a spirit. They was just learning how to handle that spirit. I know that was. I told y'all that was the last time me or any of my friends were on our front porches or back porches, watching TVs or listening to the radios. Shortly after, like within a year, everybody had bars on their window. After that, we weren't community anymore, where I could go over anybody's house. That didn't exist anymore. Everybody's spirit started coming out. After that time, I told you I found out. Oh, remember I told you we could walk from between. Well, I don't know, within a block on both sides and come home with a pillowcase full of candy on Halloween. That was no more. I told you one day I went to knock on the neighbor's door and they wouldn't invite me in. That wasn't the norm. I was offended. Like, what is going on here? Coming to find out the reality, the minds of people were changing, was transforming. That one young man killing himself. I'm not saying brought crack into the community. No, that was just one experience on one block in one community that changed all them hundreds of people up and down that block's mind, consciousness, state of consciousness changed completely. And I'm sure such things, different type of scenarios played out in all different communities. I talk about how I walked around a few blocks away, and for the first time in the 80s, I seen somebody gunned down, shot in their head over a material possession. It was called, I think, a helix, a scooter. Changing the consciousness of the people. And that change in the consciousness of the people continued to morph our reality. After all of the works that were done in a realm that we can't see. Now, here in the city of Detroit, and I'm sure it is in most places, at least inner city places, it's apparent. Suburban, not always so apparent, but it also exists there. There's a lot of blight, death, suicide, drugs, alcoholism, prostitution, abandonment, different forms of abuse. That is now our reality, our physical reality. There are no movie theaters. There are no roller skating rinks. There are no community events, efforts. The schools are closed. All closed. People aren't families anymore. They hate each other. They backstab each other. They throw each other under the bus. This is our reality in my area. This is our reality. And the realities in every community have shifted since that time. I know I've traveled many circles, but I talk about mine because I'm aware of it and I sit in it every single day. Social engineering at its finest. Mass social engineering at its finest, executed by the powers that be. Some of these powers that are physical beings, and others are ethereal beings. You can't see the ethereal beings. So, most of us don't even acknowledge or consider that there's something at work that we can't see. The Broom Stick Challenge. NASA shared the other day that what? The earth is in perfect balance. And you, in your intimate space, you can experience this phenomenon for yourself. All you got to do is go get your broom and watch it stand up by itself. How is it possible? Well, Earth is in perfect balance. So we're talking about what? Physics, gravity, not having the properties that we've known it to have in the past. In the past, if you didn't hold the broom up, it fell down. But on February, what was this, 11th? Yeah, February 11th of 2020, that was a perfect time. The exact date that the gravitational pull was so balanced that brooms across the country stood up by themselves. Let me see. I don't know. How do I move forward with this? I don't know. I don't know, Yanni. I really don't know. But now I know. LA. Yeah, we national here. We international. So why am I talking about this broom thing? Back to the Tower of Babel. There has to be a point that the masses focus upon in order to do what? A few things. Number one, to initiate or to, let me say initiate, to commence with mass hypnotic suggestion. The hypnosis is important, but not as important. But we can think of the broom as a focus point. Not only did they give you something to focus on with the broom, they also gave the suggestion. That's why I talk about the hypnosis. The suggestion is that the earth is in perfect balance, that physics has changed at that point in time, on that date, in which the gravitational pull allowed a broom to stand up. Try it for yourself. That's your focus. The Tower of Babel, and the reason why it was being built, was the focus. It was the purpose and the focus, as is the broom. So what am I saying? I'm saying that the powers that be orchestrated this propaganda in a way to direct everybody's attention on one thing. And that one thing is the physics of this earth, changing what defines our reality. Focus on this and make it this way. Make it this way. So, what am I saying? We had thousands or hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people pulling their broom out, focusing on getting their broom to stand up in the middle of their room somewhere. If they weren't doing it, then they were reading it, or they were looking at pictures of others all over social media. Everybody's man on this broom standing up, or trying to make it stand up, making it stand up, whatever the case may be. It was possible. It was possible because what I'm saying, it was possible for this broom, the brooms to stand up, because we was all focusing on it and believing it. Therefore, changing our reality. At this time, I want to refer you to a movie. I can't say a movie, a period in which a movie came out. Now I can't remember this movie, the name of this movie at all, but the movie came out between the late 90s and the early 2000s. And this movie genre was like Christian movies. And in the movie, one of the themes was called The Day of Wonders. I can't remember the name of this movie. I'm going to look it up. The Day of Wonders. And what it was about was, it's the Antichrist. This is a Christian movie. It's the Antichrist coming into existence. And so we have the Christians, Christians trying to teach us through cinema, the movies. And so it's time for the Antichrist to come. How do you introduce the Antichrist to, humanity? Well, devil, his crews, Antichrist come up with, a way. And the way is to make some virtual glasses, give them out to everybody like they gave out Obama phones or whatever they gave out. Give them out to everybody. Make sure everybody got these visors, these goggles. This is the movie. So on the Day of Wonders, everybody's so excited. Day of Wonders. What's the Day of Wonders, They don't know that they're about to be introduced and stand face to face with the Antichrist. They don't know this in the movie. And so the Day of Wonders come. Let's say hypothetically, case scenario, paralleling yesterday, February 11th, 2020, with the Day of Wonders I'm talking about in this movie from the late 90s, early 2000s. Christian movie genre. On the Day of Wonders, everybody's so excited. They pick up their goggles. They put their goggles on. They're immediately transported into a realm where they stand in one-on-one with the Antichrist. They don't know it's the Antichrist. They're in this virtual world. And the Antichrist says to them, what is your one wish? If you could have anything. And this one character who was paraplegic from waist down said, if I could have anything, I will walk again. And the Antichrist says to him, even though you don't know the Antichrist, get up and walk. And the man says, I can't walk. He said, get up and walk. And so the man gets up and he walks. The man had been in the wheelchair for the majority of his life after the accident. When that man saw he could walk, and the man said, will I be able to walk in real time when I take these goggles off? Antichrist said, this has been gifted to you. And the man fell down, crying, worshiping the Antichrist. He don't know he worshiping the Antichrist, but he ain't give a care. And the man said, the Antichrist said, pledge your allegiance to me. The man said, you got my allegiance. Of course, all them years after that accident, that man had been in that wheelchair. Had no God come down to save him or help him. And then all of a sudden, here comes this wonder, this Day of Wonders, that gives him his mobility back. And of course, there were other characters, same thing. One man had an amputated arm. As soon as he went into put the visor on, was transported to the virtual world, standing before the Antichrist. Antichrist, first thing he had was his arm. Antichrist already knew what he wanted. The man saw his arm, fell to the ground, worshiping, crying, you got my allegiance. Once they took off the visor, they had changed. They had, based on the consciousness of the Christian world and reality back then, that man had pledged his allegiance to Satan. Therefore, he forgot anything about God and, the Christian way. And a part of their allegiance or oath to the Antichrist was to turn anybody in that had not stood before Satan during the Day of Wonders. You know what I'm saying? And made sure to report anybody that they found out didn't do this to the Antichrist and his crew, so they can go get them and make them do the Day of Wonders. Okay. Why do I refer y'all to that movie? It is because of this broom. This broomstick challenge thing. The Day of Wonders. Think about it. If Broom stood up all over the world by themselves, going against the laws of physics the way we know it to be, that was astonishing. That is a day of wonders. That is something the whole experience, although very entertaining, amusing, intriguing, is also something that changes the consciousness of the men and women that create humanity. We all are in agreement now that physics has changed. We're all in agreement that physics has changed. And we know this because we made a broom stand up by itself in the middle of the floor all over this world. February the 11th, 2020 was our Day of Wonders. Collectively, we did a ritual. We participated in a ritual that helped to redefine reality as we know it. And this is the thing. What did we change about reality? What did we change about reality? I have to go back once again to my early childhood experiences. Why? Because this is no order to this particular subject matter, but I'm trying to make it make sense. When I was younger, and that young man killed himself, that was the trigger. It was the catalyst that changed everybody in my environment's consciousness. It opened us up because the question, I remember this question even as a young girl. Why he do that? It was almost like, and we know it did, suicide didn't even exist. But we know it did. Why would he do that? This man was handsome. He had a whole family full of brothers. The community was rich and lavish. What happened in his world that nobody was aware of, that would lead him to kill himself. That changed everybody's consciousness. And how did it change everybody's consciousness? Just the concept that you kill yourself. That it could be something so horrific, or bad, or whatever, you don't feel like you can get over it, hopelessness, that you kill yourself. That wasn't a common experience when I was coming up. After that, it was downhill. Then to see that woman I told you came wobbling up, up to the house. The spirit in her was never seen before. The consciousness immediately changed. We never went outside again. Never sat on the porch. We put gates and bars on our door. People start toting guns then. You know what I'm saying? Change the whole consciousness of the people. And that, goes real deep. That whole story and scenario about the drug infiltration, especially in the inner city, goes real deep. It began to change the consciousness of all people, as well as the reality itself. This broomstick challenge is not the first time that our consciousness has been manipulated. However, this is the most recent time. Would I believe, wow, I just had a deja vu, you had a deja vu? Oh, Asia, make a video, share here on YouTube so I can watch it. We all can watch it. Let's hear about the deja vu. Because what you're hearing me talk about most likely triggered it. It triggered it, and it triggered it for a reason. And the reason why I'm dealing with depression, the reason why I talked about the fake conscious community and the fake spiritual community is because if it was real, then they would be able to see the day of wonders we just ate. And as a community, we should be able to work together to figure out what we just did that's going to change our reality. But what I believe we can be assured of is that the changes probably will not be beneficial to most people in humanity. It won't be beneficial to most people in humanity. How do I know that? You look at all the historical evidence about the various types of social engineering that have taken place throughout the world, and none of it was for the uplifting and enhancement of the people that create humanity at any given time. So why would our works today do so? We did something collectively yesterday that's going to change, has changed our reality. Not only has it changed our reality, well, actually, first it changed our perception of reality, and then our reality. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Let me look and see if I covered everything, because this is deep to me. I want to talk a little bit more about that. I want to talk a little bit more about that. What do I want to talk a little bit more about before I end this live stream? And I don't know in what context I'll be talking about it, but it has to do with how we were given, we can say, an item or a point to focus on in which to meditate, as well as it being a mass hypnosis. It's so big that we can't see it. Now, what we can expect is a checkpoint. It's time to check. Once they executed this, what is it called? Don't try to rush Nancy. Vice time. What is it called? It's not a trick. It is a mutation. You know, in order to mutate, we had to go through a process. We went through the process, or the, what's the word? I don't have my dictionary opened up, but the actual process that we went through, I have to find a label for it. So we're all on the same page. But we went through a process, and I probably didn't say the word, man, I forgot my mind somewhere else. Of that process that we went to. Now they have to check. You know, after somebody Maturian candidates you, they have to check to make sure that what their intent was happened. Because if it didn't happen, if it didn't take root, then they got to do it again. So, checkpoint. What will the next checkpoint be? The last checkpoint I shared with you that I could identify, I could think of a couple of them though, was that dress, the dress. Before that, it was this thing called Mama Bird. These are things that somehow always socially go viral. Social media viral. Mama Bird. Checking on our state of consciousness, awareness, intellect, ability to comprehend and or discern or understand what you're perceiving. You know, and you think about it now. After I mention this, how many things like that can you think about that have happened, and how often do they happen? Because those are the checkpoints to see if we are headed where they want us to go mentally on a subconscious level. This is the branch of knowledge of psychiatry, psychology, and psychiatry. So be it. We can't see it. Life is so interesting. So let me see. Okay, covered that. Hey, I'm a raised hell. I can tell it now. One man. Interesting. One man. One man. One man. Talk about that. Ain't possible. One man. Religious or Muslim. Man, okay, I did that. Dress Popeyes. Chicken and seafood. The social testing. What am I doing? Right now, I'm throwing words out here, statements, that vocabulary, building a language that we all can, work with on this subject matter. Because don't forget this. Please share this video with others. I think it's important. So I want to talk about what just happened with this broomstick challenge, paralleling it back to the Tower of Babel. What did the gods do? They scattered the people's language so that they couldn't be successful in their attempt to build a tower to the heavens to God. They throttled their purpose. They throttled their intent. That's what the gods did. So, there is no God to throttle our people's empower attempt and intent. No God up there to say, nope, let's scatter their language. Nope, we was all focused on that one thing. I'm bringing this up for a reason, if I can remember. I got them old people problems, y'all. Well, let me see. Important. It was important. Don't lose it. What was it? Social testing. Checkpoints, hypnosis. Confusion. Confusion. That's what it is about. Confusion. Humanity has already been social engineered to be confused. What's the word? To be morons. That's what I mean. Just, I don't know the word. Just ain't there, ain't getting it, can't perceive. Already been social engineered to do that. So, parallel to the story of the Tower of Babel, what humanity would need and what we have been programmed to believe will occur is that there is a God that stands on high that will lead us all to be able to see clearly. Why would we need that? Because down here, we've been socially engineered to be confused. We are confused, therefore we lack the ability to see, to perceive, and to comprehend what is taking place. What is taking place, it's been a mass suggestion, it's been a mass ritual that has done what? Redefined our reality. There has been we've been under psychological testing for a long time. We can't see none of this. We need to see clear. There is not a God up on high at the tower, up top of Babel, to say, let all my people see clear what's taking place. Take the blinds off of them. So, we have been subjected to and executed the will of the powers that be in this realm. We have changed our reality and we don't know how we did it. We don't even know that we did it. I'm bringing up the subject matter. We are confused. And that was a part of the story of the Tower of Babel. That's why I'm bringing it up. It was about confusion. However, I'm saying the dynamics to the story, relative to that storyline, have changed. And me making sure it's clear for whoever watches this. I'm trying to make it clear that in the Tower of Babel, They were made confused in that moment. We are starting off confused, and there's nobody to straighten it out. That's the difference. That's the difference. We need to be able to see. Because I guarantee you, I put all that I am on this, that we just changed our reality. And it's going to have a physical manifestation in this world that is not beneficial to you and I. Days and nights of revelation. That's me. Fake people. I don't know how that fit right here. They can't fit right here. Fake people and fake testimonies. This is the devil's world. Okay, so he said, I feel lighter and more grounded since February 9th, full moon. You feel lighter and more grounded? That's a good thing. And commencement of the day of wonders. I don't know about this challenge. I agree with collective focus. Something occurred, and how can we flip it? Number one, we got to find out what we did. We need clarity, period. We need clarity on what we did. And the only way to look at it and to figure out what we did is we know that it's in the area of physics. We know that. Meaning we changed that which we can't see. Collectively. Just like at the Tower of Babel. We work collectively to change that we cannot see. And the area that we changed it in is the branch of knowledge of physics. You know what I'm saying? In physics. Now we have to look at physics and people. What changes in physics will impact the people, and in which way? And we can't think on a very individualistic level. We have to think on a collective level, on a bigger level, on a macro level. There is something big that is going to transcend or materialize into this physical world that's going to impact us overall in the area of physics. So when I end this live stream, I will begin my research in the field of physics to see everything that it covers. And I'm sure it covers so much more, because if I'm not mistaken, that is really like the more microscopic level, the invisible, the ethereal realm. But what is it exactly? Because then we'll be able to see if I can identify it, or either one of you can identify it. Especially if you got any knowledge about physics. I don't have any knowledge about physics. You know, then we'll know where we have to keep our eye out and where we need to do our work at. You get? Did I make that clear in all of this ranting? I really feel like I really believe that we need to do something, and do something quickly. This is I'm gonna throw myself out here and say, from this moment forward, we are called, how can I say, there's certain time periods that you can play around. You know, we have our periods in life where we can have fun, we can let our hair down, we can relax, you know. We with our best friend, we know we ain't got to watch our back because they watching our back, you know. But this is not that time. This is not that time. This is a time period where we, I believe, and I say we, you know, I'm talking about the people that create humanity and humanity overall, need to become maybe more serious minded. And we need to really begin to, for real, do research. So all that fake spirituality, all that fake conscious stuff, it's time to man up. Man up, as they say. Woman up. Humanity up. Wake up. In order to see where we about to get hit. Because we're about to get hit. And we're not just getting hit in the physical. Of course, it's going to materialize in the physical. We are getting hit on a spiritual level. Well, we already took the hit in the spiritual level when we did what we did. But we about to be hit. We about to be hit. And that's what I'm sure of. It's other stuff that I also recognize ties into this. But that would make the video a whole lot longer. And I'm sure we've done about 2 hours easy. But one of the things that I see is relative to what has transpired most recently is about a year or so ago, we had a solar eclipse in Leo, I think it was. And I talked about being outside with my neighbors and everybody out here trying to see this solar eclipse, that the Great American Eclipse or something. And how I talked about everything from the perspective of the use of my physical eyes. And how I end up having my laptop outside trying to record the event. But the black screen picked up a whole nother event. And it was like it was a change in our reality as far as like the color spectrum. And like the speed of light was impacted at that time. It was some type of change. It looked like a black hole based on the black mirror of my laptop while I was recording. See, I couldn't record the actual black mirror. I probably would have had another camera. It may have picked it up if I had another camera. I didn't know what was going to happen. But if I had another camera to record the black mirror, I might have been able to see it. I don't know. But it seemed like there was a black hole in the sky, which was our sun. It wasn't a sun in the black mirror. It was a black hole, or a, what do you call it? Black hole. And that black hole had an X, we could say, across it. And the X that sprung out from the black hole, which was the sun, split like an X, and it was the color spectrum. It was a whole color spectrum. And it showed 4 corners of the sky. And I was saying in that video I shared that, I was like, I had never seen, you hear in the Bible, 4 corners of the earth, 4 corners of the sky, 4 winds of the earth. It showed 4 distinct corners. And so I'm looking at it from the perspective of, okay, well, this black screen has boundaries. It's framed 17.5 inches or whatever. So I'm like, okay, but what I was seeing, I don't know, what I was seeing was, it like it had nothing to do with the black mirror's frame. 17 point, I think my screen at the time was 17.5 inches. Had nothing to do with that creating the 4 corners of the heavens. It was literally like 4 corners in the heavens. And those rainbow color spectrum orbs that fed into each other, I don't know how else to say it, were pouring, they were being drawn in by that black hole, which was our sun. And the furthest distance, that color spectrum was intensely dark. It was what they call opaque or something, or matte. It was matte, opaque, or something like that. And as it drew in toward the sun, it got lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, like it was pulling, sucking the color out of our reality. And therefore, the frequencies associated with color, and it was like you could see it, like it was moving. It was literally sucking in, and so it changed the speed of light, and so that as well. And then the whole thing that it was announced, it was big, that we were having a great American solar eclipse in Leo. Everybody go out and see it, and so we're all out there seeing it with our naked eye, whatever we were able to see or perceive. But something else was going on. So it says, see this change in your reality. We've told you. You've seen it. You witnessed it. But you didn't know you did. Just by chance, I saw it in the black mirror. What the fudge is this? What the fudge is this, people? I don't think people seeing this. And so I'm going from the black mirror to this, to the sunglasses. I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So it's like we are collectively doing works in this physical world but we don't know we doing them. That day of that great American solar eclipse, many people were in fields. I watched Sharon YouTube in fields watching this eclipse go on. We were all witnesses to it, but we were only witnessing what we could see with our naked eye. Our naked eye can only see so much of the color spectrum. It was something else extraordinary going on that we witnessed. Ride the wave with me. Say hypothetically, case scenario, there is something that will call us all into account someday for our participation here on this earth. And we stand before that thing, whatever it is, or that being, and it asks about that time period. It says, hey, you existed during this great American eclipse. Yada, 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 yada. All you can testify to is that what you seen with your naked eye. That being or entity that's interviewing you or interrogating you says, but this is what was happening. And they're talking about that. But you can't comprehend what they're talking about because you didn't see it, because you were looking at it with your naked eye. And you were held accountable for what was taking place. The same thing stands true with this broomstick challenge. That same being at an appointed time calls you to be accountable for your participation in the works that have taken place upon this earth at a particular time. And it says, hey, y'all had this thing going on called the broomstick challenge. All y'all came into agreement on something in particular. Y'all changed the physics, the laws of this realm. And y'all, everybody gonna be like, yeah, the broomstick, yeah, ha ha ha, it was funny. And that being is gonna be saying, well, this is what they're gonna be talking about, something, and we won't be able to comprehend it. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm guilty of, offending physicality because I participated in this? Or the change that occurs because we participated in this ritual. And then what we end up becoming as a direct result of it. The works that we end up doing as a direct result of it. We stand before that being. And it says you are being called into account about your behavior. And you'd be like, what? I was just me. I was just normal. And it says, no. You and you and you participated in this ritual of changing the physics associated with reality. And we say, no, we didn't. But in fact, we did. And is it all gone already?
I don't know. I don't feel like too much closing.
Why you ain't get it out the hall closet? There wasn't no more in the hall closet.
It's not.
I put a bag of tissue in the hall closet, and there's a bag in here for later. So, I don't know if that made sense, but that's what's been on my mind. Made my heart heavy, and now got me borderline on depression. Yeah, that's what it is. See, I know the real spiritual walk will wipe the smile off your face, and you have to choose what you will do after that. You have to choose what you'll do after that. So, last thing, and then I'm gonna let you ladies and gentlemen go. Thank you for your time and your energy. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, just contact me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Please like this video. Put a thumbs up for me. Thank you. Please share it. I think it's really important, and it's highly relative of the works that we need to do in our realm at this time and beyond. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If I'm not too heavy and deep for you, subscribe to my channel, and remember to click the bell so you'll be notified when I go live and or upload a video. If you're ever interested in supporting me, my work, and my channel, you can do so by Cash Apping me. Here's my Cash App link. It is $, Kid Angels Fly Tarot. And if you can't cash at me, you can sure enough email me and say, hey Nancy, send me one of your PayPal invoices for whatever amount, and I would do so. Every bit helps. Every bit counts. You're welcome. And so I'm going to cover one more thing after I read the chat, then I'm going to let y'all go for the evening. Again, thank you for your time, your shoulder, all that kind of in your ear. I really appreciate you. You says, I was getting dark before, just disgusted. I'm grateful cause man, you never want to sabotage your own self. Never. No, never. Do we intentionally want to sabotage ourselves? Never. Nancy, I'm asking people specific moral questions before I can hang. I can dig that. And they ain't going to be able to feel them. They ain't going to feel that. They be like, what? Ados, we are changing physics too via fairness, logic, and accountability. Thank you for saying that, Yanni. I'm going to come back to that. I got to come back to that. Yeah. This info you're giving is reminded me of what we can do, love. Yes, thank you for saying that. You're welcome, Asia. I'm happy you said that because that was something I was about to forget. Yanni shares about Ados, and it was the African descendants of slaves or something like that. It says we are, and she states that we, talking about Ados, are changing physics to via fairness, logic, and accountability. What does that mean? It's saying that Ados, this group or community of African Americans, descendants of Africans of slaves or something like that, black folks now, you know, a particular lineage of people that are looking for reparations for their works and their contribution into the world. Okay. It's saying that this group of people in particular are trying to change physics or moving to change physics relative to people's consciousness. It says, hey, this world has not been executing a particular type of consciousness. Let us teach you. And we're trying to teach you how to be fair, to be logical, and to be accountable for what you've done and what has been done and what has transpired in the past, and is even currently being perpetuated. So, the consciousness of human beings, all human beings that create humanity, is what primarily, number one, what I'm saying has been impacted by our participation in this particular ritual as well as other rituals. Now, based on my studies in astrology and my works doing tarot readings for, you know, the people that contact me, it has become, it seems to me, but I say, who am I? That humanity has been called to upgrade their consciousness. Humanity has been immature, socially engineered to be retarded, and morons. And there's something that exists that is trying to help us evolve and to ascend. But in order to evolve and ascend, number one, we got to be able to see clear. We have to accept what we learn as true, whether it's seen or unseen. And we have to adjust ourselves, our works, our behaviors, our social interactions accordingly in order to usher in evolution and ascension. All of that which I said lines up with what Yanni shared about Ados. It is about us changing our consciousness and our awareness about this realm. Let's be more logical. Let's be fair. Let's be accountable. Let's be, empathic or sympathetic. You know, those are just a few of the terms that can be used to define where our consciousness should be going. However, we live in, like we could say, the devil's realm. And in this realm, the powers that be do not want our consciousness to be formed in the way that Yanni has shared and I've just shared. They don't want that. Because that does what? Ushers in your evolution and your ascension. So what I've been saying about such rituals as this broomstick challenge ritual thing is that it is programming us to have the opposite state of consciousness, the opposite, or detrimental states of consciousness. An example is physics itself, just around physics. The law said, I did it, the video called The Fabric of Reality. The law said, the law, not the Lord, the laws said, the universal laws said, the laws of physics said, X, Y, and Z. Okay. But man came in, or has come in, and is doing their own thing, working together. Can't nothing stop them. Want to stay focused together on an intent, with intent, on a particular purpose. Can't stop them. Redefining physics. Okay? In that redefining of physics comes a certain level of consciousness. Or what? Sets of information. What is that set of information? Most likely, whatever it is detrimental to humanity. Example, it could, and this is a far stretch because I haven't researched, but that set of consciousness can include hatred. But we're talking on a, what they call it, subatomic level in the ethereal realm. It can increase hatred, biasness, and different things like that when it ends up manifesting in the 3D. That's why we need to look deeper. What did we change? Because if we changed it and it ain't for our benefit, we better change it as soon as possible in a way that is beneficial, that will be beneficial to us when it manifests in this 3D realm. Now, most of us don't know about magic. Most of us don't believe in magic. But I just showed you the different type of magical spells or rituals that can be performed and change reality. What rituals have I shared? I shared the ritual of that person dying, sacrificing themselves in the concept three-dimensional suicide that changed the consciousness of the people and shortly after manifested in the physical. I shared the ritual or magic spell of crack hitting the city, overtaking the people. They walking around with certain spirits, transforming the consciousness of the people, and soon after, the physical world. I talked about my dream as well, and how when you do certain things, when certain things happen in the unseen realm, it also manifests in the physical. Not only does it manifest in the physical, it manifests in the subconscious, spirit, and physicality. I don't know if I made the dream part make sense. But what am I saying? Our state of consciousness at this time is being offered the opportunity to ascend, to be more positive, to be more inclusive, and agreeable to the realm that we live in, as well as to who we really are outside our physical vessel. However, there are beings that exist that don't want that to happen. And I contend that the rituals that we have been manipulated to participate in are actually leading us to do the total opposite. To open up portals and to tap into different states of consciousness that also are accompanied by negative states of information that are going to manifest in the physical and have a negative impact upon humanity overall. I hope I made that make sense. And so That's the thing. Giving you homework. I barely ever give you homework. I'll be an excellent teacher. I don't give out homework that often. But today I give you homework. Today I give you homework. I ask you to dive off into metaphysics. You can do it easy. We all got phones, iPhones, laptops, all this stuff out here. Google metaphysics. See what it touches on. Remember, metaphysics is the ethereal part, the hidden part, the unseen part of our material world. It's the mechanics behind the scene. See what the different branches are. And what those different branches are, what are they attached to when they manifest in 3D reality? It's something in there that we need to figure out. We just transform. And then we're going to have to set up and make up our own ritual and participate in it. This is the ascension of the true conscious community, the true spiritual community. And then we're going to have to participate in it together in order to create the reality that we can all live with. So, I'm going to let y'all go. I really enjoyed y'all once again. I'm going to read the chat, then I'm off of here. You said, I had a dream that I came out of a building at nighttime and Jupiter was super close to Earth. Excuse me. And there was a portal opened on it. But when I pointed out the planet, no one could see it but me. That is amazing and interesting. See, everybody can't see. Everybody can't see. And you know the planet Jupiter has to do with consciousness, right? Awareness. You know, consciousness and awareness. So there are certain things based on what you shared that you became conscious aware of that other people couldn't see. Making you look weird or being the black sheep, you know, or too spiritual. Yeah, that's what that was about. At least from my perspective. Of course, you interpret your own dream to get the understanding that you're supposed to receive. And it's interesting that you say a portal opened up. So that suggests to me that a new state, this thing ain't glitching, a new state of consciousness opened up to you. You know, something new that probably didn't exist in this realm before, which lines up with everything that's been going on. It says, by the way, there's a large rock headed toward Earth, and the experts say that we're defenseless against it. I just heard about it. That's some deep stuff. They've been constantly suggesting that to us for a very, very, very long time. And that was the original, I think one of the original reasons that they began to create like nuclear warheads and things was to be able to divert any flying objects that might be moving toward Earth. You know, it says, check Netflix. Who killed Malcolm X? Oh, excuse me. You are a great teacher. Thank you. Regular classrooms aren't good enough. Yes, our own rituals. Thank you so much. And the white sheep. Oh, the white sheep. Oh, the white sheep of the flock. Right. All right, y'all. Good night. Because what time is it? Yeah, it's time for y'all to be able to chill and get off into some other stuff. Until next time, y'all. Bye.